Hello everyone, welcome back to Charmed Rewind!
Woo!
After an unscheduled break, we're back. And better than ever. Wrong. Just like Charmed, it's only a downhill slide.
This was terrible.
This is an infamously bad episode. This was Season 5, Episode 3, Happily Ever After!
Crappily ever after.
Flames on the side of my face.
I don't know if you were looking at IMDb, Phelan. The Alyssa Milano fetishist was back in full force.
Oh boy.
It's not the amount of screenshots, it's just, you know why the screenshots are there. So we got the shot of her feet in the slippers, which you can see through. You know what that's about. And also, some panty shots are in there, because, for people
she walks like an idiot.
Because she walks like an idiot in her stupid outfit, and we will get into that.
Ministry of Silly Walks.
Yeah, but you know, like, they were going frame by frame, like, where can you see the undies? And that's what they put in there. They didn't put any good shots of her, just that shit.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, if you too want to enjoy that, that's the IMDb page for Happily Ever After, Season 5, Episode 3.
Sure, yeah.
All right, should we jump into this fairy tale book?
Let's do it.
All right, the very first scene is Piper, who is up late reading Snow White to herself in the attic. As you do.
She's reading it to the unborn baby.
To the unborn baby, yes. At this point in the story, she's pregnant. This is her first pregnancy, and we got stuff going on with Thanks Colbama.
A lot of
Thanks Colbama going on in this episode. This is right after the Season 5 opener, the 2-part mermaid thing. Cole has been resurrected from the dead. He resurrected himself from the dead, I should note. He's got a bunch of powers.
My ex-husband back from the dead.
Phoebe is Thanks Colbamaing all over the place. He has a bunch of crazy powers that he acquired. He's trying to win her back at the moment. I think
he's currently not doing anything evil, but Phoebe is planning to kill him.
Yeah.
So clearly he's the crazy one.
So I think that's
Phoebe's justified. She had a bad dream, so they need to find a potion to kill Cole. Because what if the dream comes true?
She's just constantly like, I gotta justify this. And like,
you imagine trying to use that justification in real life? Like, I'm gonna try and kill someone. I had a dream that they did something to me. I mean, that seems reasonable.
It's weird that it's part of this episode's story that she's coming up with a lot of flimsy excuses for why Cole has to be behind this. And yet this is how this storyline treats it throughout the whole story, is that she, like, the whole arc is that she was right all along and he was evil and she's justified.
Yeah, even though she turns him evil.
Yeah. She turned him evil. We've been into that. Anyway,
yeah.
I think that's the major story beats that are going on at the time. So Piper's reading to herself. Paige walks in. She's in a yellow pinup dress with full makeup, but she says, "Why are you still up?" Well, clearly you were still up. Like,
yeah.
Where were you, Paige?
It's past Piper's bedtime. Yeah. Paige's.
Maybe Piper just goes to bed super early. So she's like, "Oh, this is weird. It's 7 o'clock and you're still awake."
7 o'clock.
Piper blames this on being pregnant or something. Like, she's like, first trimester nonsense or something or other. I guess she can't sleep. So Paige offers to make her a potion to help out with this. And Piper's like, I don't want to expose the baby to something that's going to subject her to anything bad. They're still referring to the baby as her. I think this is because in season 2... I think it was season 2. They had an episode where they go to the future and she has a kid and it's a girl. I don't remember story-wise how they explain this. They're probably like, the future's unwritten or whatever, because I guess Prue wasn't alive at that point either.
Yeah.
So
was it Wyatt Tina or something?
Wyatt Tina? Yeah, I think they didn't even go... I'm not sure if it was even a P name, but I'm not sure. It might have been.
Poop.
Not that Wyatt was a P name. I don't know. Whatever.
Potty.
Yeah. Whatever the reason, it's Wyatt that she's pregnant with, but they think that it's a girl at this point. Paige is like, well, if you don't want to expose the baby to anything bad, you should stop reading those silly fairy tales. They're full of damsels in distress. They gotta have men rescue them, and there's evil witches. This episode does nothing to disprove that women need men to save them, because they would be fucked if Cole wasn't around.
Yeah. Paige is kind of being a little pushy with her thoughts here, but I do think there is something to, maybe you shouldn't read them about evil witches and then be like, and guess what? I'm a witch.
Yeah, it does kind of make the context a little different with them, but
yeah.
They also seem to forget that fairy tales did not originate as nice stories. They were pretty gruesome to basically be like, you behave or these bad things are going to happen to you.
Or you'll die.
Maybe that's why Piper likes them. She's like, oh, they teach values.
Yeah.
And teach them they're going to get fucking eaten if they don't keep in line, you know?
This is full of the fact she won't take a magic potion. Like, I don't want to expose the baby to magic, but they can have their magic unbinded and kill themselves.
Yeah.
Piper's so stupid about that. I want a normal life, except I want a magic baby that doesn't know what it's doing with its powers.
So, Paige is still going on about this. She's like, well, you want my advice? And then Piper goes like, not really.
Yeah, that was like such a not hidden fuck you.
Not really, I want your advice.
Like, Piper cannot hide her utter despisal of people in this episode.
Paige's advice is just weird, though. She's like, oh, ditch the fairy tales and do what other mothers-to-be do and just rely on your instincts. And then she hands her the Book of Shadows. And I'm like, what does this mean? Mm-hmm. Don't read fairy tales, rely on your instincts? Like, these are, like, mutually exclusive concepts or something? Like, and what is she handing her the book for? I don't know what anything she's telling her is. Anyway, Piper's like, well, you know, mothers-to-be, normal ones, don't worry about their baby doing crazy things like orbiting to Tahiti, so it's a good thing she never did anything to prevent her kid from doing that, like binding her powers or anything.
Yeah.
Binding the kid's powers. So, Paige leaves, and Piper immediately gets back to reading those silly fairy tales.
Yeah. Like, where was I?
Yeah,
like, the very beginning.
Oh, yeah, Snow White's mom died.
What happened there? Oh, that's great.
Then we get a page-turn transition effect? Like, shitty ass you would see, like, in fucking, like, Windows Movie Maker shit. Mm-hmm. I think that was maybe a little advanced for Movie Maker, but, you know, it's pretty bad.
It's very good.
And there's, like, a drawing of a castle, and it's, like, maybe for a second you're like, oh, this is the book, she's reading from the book, maybe this is an artistic thing, but no, this is an establishing shot for a real place in this episode.
Yeah.
This is a place where they keep a bunch of fairy tale bullshit. It's like a secret hidden dimension of fairy tale things, and that's about as much of an explanation as you get in the episode. It's just fairy tale bullshit. So, the Wicked Witch...
It's the keeper of the crap.
Yeah. The Wicked Witch from Snow White is there. She is trapped in the mirror at the moment. There's this keeper guy who's this old man. He's like one of those that guys who's been in everything. He was that big head in that Next Gen episode. He was also in some Baywatch Nights. He was in that alternate dimension where he died.
Double Next Gen here because the witch is Admiral Nechayev.
Oh, yeah. The meeting of Trek legends in this fantastic episode of Charmed. So anyway, she's been trapped in this mirror for centuries. This also establishes, as we will learn in this episode, all fairy tales are real. Mm-hmm. The old man, the keeper of these fairy tale things, he's cleaning this mirror, and there's this younger man there who's his apprentice. They don't explain that till the end, so I didn't really know who this guy was supposed to be until he's like, I am his
Mickey
apprentice,
Mouse,
or was. Yeah, he's casting spells and making the broom.
Having to kill the brooms.
Yeah. So anyway, this younger man's there. He's polishing some plastic slippers. I mean the glass slippers. The old man's like, hey, be careful with those, because those artifacts, all these artifacts here, they hold the power of every fairy tale.
Well, he bumps the mirror.
Yeah, he bumps the mirror like an idiot, like with his ass as he walks by. He says that this is like every fairy tale, but there's only like maybe 10 things in there.
Yeah, they need a much bigger room if it's every fairy tale.
Maybe not every fairy tale was real, it was just those like handful of ones that they say.
And then the MGM version of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, apparently. he says that the magic of these artifacts continues to shape every child born. Because everyone reads their kid fairy tales and it shapes them or something.
Apparently.
Like, this is completely ignoring the origin of, like, most fairy tales. This does seem kind of like an allegory for Disney, right? Like, they're like, oh, every child grows up on Disney.
Yeah.
The magic of Disney. Anyway, him bumping into the mirror with his ass was his fatal flaw. And I mean literally his fatal flaw, because the mirror falls off, like a delayed reaction falls off the wall.
It doesn't really make any sense, because he bumps into it a little bit, and then you see it kind of static in the background, but then you see close-up shots of it wobbling and somehow taking the hook out of the wall that it's pinned with.
She kept looking up at it from the mirror, which made it seem like she was making this happen in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, she gets out of there, like, it breaks and she gets out of there and she's like, thanks. And I'm like, so someone did it, and the young guy never interacts with this mirror at any point, so it's only him bumping it with his ass forever ago.
Yeah.
And then that happened. I'm like, this is a very confusing way to film what is kind of important to the plot, like how she gets out.
Mm-hmm. It's like he should have a better spike on the wall pinning the mirror up if it's that important. Like, oh, if it falls, she gets out.
Yeah, or like the glass slippers, maybe they shouldn't be sitting on a tiny pedestal, you know?
Yeah, easily knock overable.
Shouldn't that have killed her if it fell over instead of setting her free?
No.
And what fairy tale did that, like, destroy? It didn't seem like the magic of that fairy tale went away, because she repairs the mirror, so...
Mm-hmm. I don't understand how the mirror works, because she throws the sorcerer's apprentice in the mirror, and then he starts acting like the magic mirror from Snow White.
Yeah, he has to tell the truth.
Yeah, but she wasn't doing that.
Yeah, she wasn't doing that. Maybe no one was asking her anything, you know?
She was all like, you stupid sorcerer.
Yeah, she just complained, but I guess she didn't not tell the truth.
Maybe if he asked her a question, she would have talked like that, but it didn't seem like she was doing that.
Wouldn't it be so funny if she had to tell the truth, so she'd be like, oh, my mirror's falling down. Oh, damn it! Liar, liar situation.
Yeah. I'm gonna get set free and kill you.
Ah, damn it. I wish for one day my evil witch couldn't tell a lie.
How'd she get put in the mirror?
I think maybe that's the end of the fairy tale. She's trapped in the mirror. Well, it depends on what version of Snow White you're looking at. Because I think some of them she's trapped in the mirror. Other ones, didn't she just die?
Yeah, she just died.
She just falls off the cliff in the Disney one.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. That maybe some versions
I
she
feel
gets
like
put in the mirror.
Yeah, in the that sequel one that you reviewed, she got stuck in the mirror, the Snow White Christmas. That's clearly the canon for Snow White.
She was just frozen in that one.
Oh, right. Which one was she stuck in the mirror? I thought when you reviewed she was in the mirror. Or maybe she got stuck in the end of... Or maybe she destroyed the mirror and he said, I am you, and then she killed herself.
Well,
that's
happened.
how the Snow White...
I am you.
You know what? We're going off on a tangent. I wasn't even right on any of that. Whatever.
Oh, my mistake.
In this version, in Charm's version of Snow White, she was trapped in the mirror. So anyway, yeah, she's like, hey, thanks, and then kills the old man in a gruesome way. She grabs his throat so hard it bleeds.
Yeah.
There's a close-up of his throat bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess her nails were going in his throat or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know if she strangles him or just blood loss or what, but he dies.
Yeah. Crushes his throat, maybe.
Yeah. And then the apprentice guy, she traps him in the mirror, and he's stuck as the magic mirror. He has to tell her the truth. So she's like, well, who's the most powerful witch ever? And she says it in whatever gimmicky, rhymey way they say things to mirrors.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you're pretty powerful, but the charmed ones are more powerful. And then we get this shitty overlay of the charmed ones, which is like Paige and Piper from earlier in the episode. And they don't have any footage of stupid Phoebe yet. So I think this is reused footage from a different episode. I'm not sure what, but she's writing her column in one of her work tube tops. That's Phoebe this season.
Stupid Phoebe.
So, the next day, Paige finds Piper asleep with the Book of Fairy Tales. She was so bored by this, she fell asleep. And then Paige makes a reference to the Brothers Grimm, which doesn't really make sense in the lore they've established in this episode.
Right. They just recorded the real history, I guess.
Yeah, the real history, which was actually nice.
Mm-hmm.
And charmed, I guess. So Paige is trying to make a protection potion. I forget to protect them against what in particular. Maybe it's just to protect Piper. Well, no, because Piper's protected by the unborn baby. Keeps healing her from within. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a Cole thing. But there's like a different thing that. No, she doesn't seem concerned about Cole because there's a thing later. So I don't know.
Yeah.
She's making a protection potion for some reason.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I wish we knew how to finish this because Grandma Ghost was working on this before she died. So apparently this was something she was working on years ago. And Piper's like, yeah, I wish that we had her around now because then she could help us figure out this protection potion. Because at this point in the story, Grandma Ghost hasn't quite worn out her welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Like her or any other ghost showing up they usually try to pretend there's a special occasion, and she would show up with like the translucent effect, like she clearly was a ghost.
Yeah.
But starting with this episode, she can just show up when the fuck ever, just like as a person.
It's like a lot of the time, they appear as a ghost for 2 seconds. They're like, and anyway, I'm bored of that, and they walk forward and turn corporeal again somehow. This episode... Even though they act like it's special that she's corporeal in this one.
Yeah, this episode they act like it's special, but it also is the beginning of the extra cheapening of death on Charmed. Like, It was always cheap, but this episode just shits on anything that ever had any meaning about death in the series.
There's so much that's not even clear about some death in this episode.
Yeah.
Doesn't get resolved.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing makes sense. So Piper says that she wishes that Grandma Ghost was around because she needs some guidance as a mother. She doesn't want to summon her own mom, I guess because she didn't really get a chance to raise them that much. She was around for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she did raise them to a point.
Yeah, she just gives no shits about her mother.
Yeah, she's like, I wish Grandma Ghost, the guest star we have, was here. Maybe they wanted
motherly
the mom
advice from Grandma, not Mom.
I feel like they probably wanted to bring the mom back for this episode and didn't get the actress, so they're like, I don't know, Grandma, I guess.
I don't know. They had the whole Red Riding Hood things. I bet they were thinking of the
yeah, you know what? You're right. And then they had the thing with Paige, too, so...
Yeah.
I guess that's why it's Grandma Ghost and not their mom. So she wants guidance as a mom, and Paige is like, well, you should ask Wendy about it. She just had a baby. They're just now mentioned friend Wendy we never see.
Wendy, she's with Casper right now.
It's like, they never are shown to have any friends. Sometimes they reference friends, and like for one episode we'll see friends. Or they had those 2 friends they hated, but apparently were gone but not forgotten, so they died. Wendy
kill all their friends.
Yeah, presumably we didn't see Wendy because they killed her off. This is when Phoebe comes rushing inside while wearing her first insane outfit of the episode.
Yeah, we hear a toilet flush and she's yelling about a vanquishing spell. Like, the toilet's overflowing, I need a vanquishing spell.
Who did this? He made the toilet overflow. Where's the toilet overflow potion? I told you to get on that.
It's even dumber because she runs in and says, I had a bad dream. I need a vanquishing potion to kill Cole.
I had a bad dream. She's in her like footy pajamas. Mom! No, she's actually wearing her first very insane outfit of the episode. Not a good one among the bunch, and she wears a few.
Footy pajamas would make more sense.
Yeah, footy pajamas would look better. No, she's wearing low-rise pants with a black leather cummerbund of sorts, a pink midriff shirt with black mesh, like a black mesh shirt underneath that like covers her belly and her sleeves, except for one shoulder, which is exposed. And I don't know if the shirt was meant to do that or if she just pulled the shirt down over the shoulder, like purposefully.
And she ripped one of her sleeves. Maybe.
Yeah, and then she's also got a little butterfly clip on one strap of this top. It's terrible. This is her work outfit. So she did, like, look, women can dress however they want, men can dress however they want too, anyone can dress how they want, but I do feel like if you're...
Phoebe can't.
Phoebe can't. I feel like if you're in a professional environment, such as being an advice columnist, perhaps you don't wear your tube top to work.
But she's the superstar of the paper, so she can do whatever she wants.
There's a time and a place for wearing your mesh tube. Well, there's no time and place where this isn't weird, but I'm just saying work is not the place for this.
Nowhere is the place.
Nowhere is the place. So, as usual, she's obsessed with herself. She comes running in, and she's like,
Hey, Paige, where's that vanquishing potion for Cole? I thought you were gonna make it.
There's some continuity from the previous episode, the mermaid episode, where she had a letter opener, and then she, like, stabbed Cole with it. Like,
Stay away, Cole.
So she gave this letter opener to Paige to create this vanquishing potion. And Paige is like, I didn't know you needed that right away.
Like Paige completely forgot about it.
Yeah, she's like,
in one ear, out the other.
And, like, Phoebe sucks, but also, like, her demon husband just resurrected from the dead. And, you know, it's completely her fault, everything that happened. He didn't really do anything. But maybe you might think he might want to kill her at this point because she deserves it. So maybe it is urgent.
No one else seems to think Cole is an issue. Like, Piper does not give a slightest shit about Cole.
Yeah, Phoebe seems to be the only one acting like he's an issue, because he's acting like a complete gentleman through this episode, and no one else seems concerned, and she's like,
he's up to something. He's gonna try and kill you guys. You better watch out.
But Cole's the crazy one.
Yeah. Phoebe's like, I just had a nightmare that Cole made me his evil queen again, completely retroactively saying that he made her do it. She did it. And Piper's like,
You had that dream before. Who cares?
Phoebe's like, well, you should be extra careful, because he has all these powers now, and he's trying to win me back, so he might attack you guys. And Piper dismisses that also by sarcastically asking if he's going to try to... She thinks that he's going to try to kill them. Like,
you think he's gonna try and kill us?
I
didn't really win you back.
Shit.
She does, like, say something that makes sense. She's like, well, he's trying to win you back, right? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why would he try to kill us?
I think that would help. Idiot.
So Phoebe then does something really dumb. She's like, well, call me at work if you finish making that potion. So apparently this is so urgent. She says, I need it big time. That she's like, you gotta get on this vanquishing potion, but not urgent enough that she has to take a day off of work at the column.
That's the middle of the night when she's going back to work.
No, it's the next day.
That's the next.
Yeah, Piper slept. She fell asleep. But yeah, like, so she's like, I'm gonna go to work. This is so urgent, but I'm gonna go to work. You do this. What a fucking lazy asshole.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, do your own vanquishing potion if you're that worried about it.
Everyone wants someone else to do something for them in this episode, because Piper does it later, too.
Everyone just orders each other around, and then, like, it's a loop of no one doing anything, because they keep bouncing off the responsibilities to other people.
Stupid Phoebe. I don't have time to do this, Paige.
Speaking of evil queens, the witch from Snow White is watching all of this from her mirror. The mirror guy asks her if she wants to see more, but she emphatically says no more Phoebe. I just can't listen to her bitch about Cole anymore. She doesn't realize the rest of the episode.
When does the show get canceled? Not for 3 more seasons. Fuck!
So the mirror guy is like, it's impossible to kill the charmed ones, forgetting that they die every week, including in this episode. Everyone dies and is easily resurrected. And the evil queen's like, impossible? Yeah, I know they got a lot of magic protecting them, but what if I use a bunch of fairy tale things, like this half-rotten pumpkin I'm sitting in front of? You think this is gonna do it? Yeah. I think this is a good plan.
I love her first plan, too. It's like, that woodsman who failed me before? Get him on the case.
Yeah. Also, this episode's version of the woodsman confuses me, because every version of Snow White I've seen, this is plot important. The woodsman doesn't want to kill her. So he gets like a pig's heart or whatever, and then tries to trick her with it. So he doesn't kill Snow White.
Yeah, he lets her know and tells her to run.
But in this version of the fairy tale, he just chases her with an axe and is just a serial killer. Oh, so the mirror guy, he calls the objects props.
Props?
He says, like, if you use these props, then that's gonna fuck up fairy tales forever or whatever. But, like, are they not the actual items from the fairy tales if they're props?
That seems to be the indication.
Why did he just slip up and call them props?
I don't know.
He's like, these props. Oh, sorry.
These cheap props. I mean, real objects.
These plastic slippers. So he says that using these props for evil would change the meaning of fairy tales and shift them away from good. Whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna change, like, retroactively fairy tales are bad? Because that's how they started anyway.
Yeah.
I don't understand what it's like they're trying to add stakes, but it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is when the evil witch summons the woodsman from Snow White and tells him just kill the palest sister. Just like go for the one who looks white. And of course the palest one is Paige, so that's the only reason he goes after Paige.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, lest we forget, everything is about Phoebe and Cole. The witch goes over to the mirror and tells it to show her the sister who's been burned by love. So she sees the bay mirror in the mirror.
Whoa.
Phoebe is there in her shitty ass outfit. Her assistant is there, blathering on and on, so that we think that Phoebe is super important and busy. Like, I don't know, I did this, and then she says that her divorce lawyer called, so her cold. So we know that she's currently trying to divorce the evil demon who was resurrected from the dead, which is very funny to me.
Who is much nicer than her.
Yeah. And apparently Cole has also tried to call her a bunch. I don't think the divorce attorney is going to help in this situation with Cole supposedly trying to kill her and harassing her and all this other stuff she thinks Cole bombing about.
She's trying to kill him. He wasn't trying to kill her.
Yeah. I don't think the divorce attorney's going to help, but she's like, get the divorce attorney on the phone. And it's like, oh, so you can take some time off work for this, but not to try to work on that vanquishing potion, which would probably be more helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So she turns around, and this is when she runs into Sean Patrick Flanery, who is unfortunately on Charmed, one of their many guest stars who is too good for this show. Some coffee is spilled on both of them. Not much on her, but they pretend like a lot is on her. So Sean Patrick Flanery can tastefully wipe it from her cleavage with a paper towel.
Because I'm such a big fan of your column, baby.
Yeah, she's immediately hot for this guy. Because she's an unreasonably horny character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he introduces himself as Adam Prince. And before he even explains who the hell he is, he's like, oh yeah, I read your column. Yeah. As if that's his character trait. He's like, I'm Adam Prince, I read Adam your column.
Prince from Eternia.
Yeah. I wish. As she says in every single identical interaction where a hot man claims to read her column, she's like, oh, you're not exactly my target audience. And then she dunks on her target audience. She says, like, yeah, you're not a housewife pining for love.
Fucking losers.
Fucking loser housewives.
And then he goes, oh, well, I'm one of those things. So clearly he's a housewife. Yeah. This is a stupid interaction.
Mm-hmm.
In walks Cole. And it turns out that his law firm suggested that Adam Prince buy the mirror. He's a rich guy who owns a bunch of papers. So Cole is trying to be a good guy here, right? Well, okay, it's a little self-serving. He's like, she'll like me surely if I get her column syndicated with this big newspaper guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he is trying to do something nice for her, and she's like,
get in the office.
Yanks him in there so she can bitch at him. And so Cole's trying to explain, like, oh, well, you know, he could syndicate your column and get you all this fame and whatever. And she's like,
I'm going to vanquish you. And this time you're going to make sure it sticks.
Because love wasn't enough to rescue him, but she could try and figure out how to keep him in hell. Yeah. She's going to put the extra effort in. And by that, I mean,
said, I won't help get you out of here.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to put the extra effort in. And by that, I mean, I'm going to tell my sisters to do it while I go to work. So Cole leaves. He's the Prince guy, Mr. Prince. He has found out at this point that Phoebe and Cole are married in the process of a divorce. He knows something's going on behind closed doors. Is
this still a bad time to ask you out?
He slinks into the doorway and he's like, hey, are you okay? Well, anyway, is this a bad time to ask you out tonight? I'm going to a charity ball for blah, blah, blah. I need a date. Well, it's not a date, but you want to be my date. This is like 2 sentences into this.
Phoebe's like, I'm already undressing you.
Oddly enough, this seems very out of character. Phoebe does say it's a bad time. Maybe let's have a rain check on this. Because we know magical things are going to make her go there anyway, so I guess she can refuse.
Yeah.
Cut to the manor, where Piper demands that Leo bring Grandma Ghost back.
Like, bring her here.
As if this is just a thing he can do all willy-nilly, like he can just bring the dead over to the house.
Yeah. Well, he says he can't do that.
Yeah, he's like, why would I be able to just summon her?
And
he's like, why don't you do it? And she's like,
I did it once, but it was a special circumstance.
too, that he says, like, well, she's worried about raising the baby by herself and all this stuff. And he goes, well, you're not alone. You have me. She goes, ugh.
Yeah, she's like,
yeah, whatever, anyway.
Yeah, she cannot be more disgusted with him. This is supposedly when they're happily married.
She's so dismissive. She could bring up what essentially her problem is. She's like, I want advice from someone who's raised a magical child before, and while I appreciate that you're here, I need someone with experience.
She just spits venom on him.
Yeah.
And like, I wanted Leo to say, marrying you was the biggest mistake I ever made. And she goes,
so much for my happy ending.
And then it's credits. It was a really short episode. So yeah, she's like, bring Grandma Ghost in. I need her. She says she has a baby with special needs. A special needs baby. And a special needs baby needs a ghost, not a dad. She's tried apparently to conjure Grandma Ghost again herself, but was unable to do it.
She's
but
tried
because
nothing and she's all out of ideas. Leo, you do it.
her fury at Leo is so much that she is able to fuse her powers with her unborn child and summon Grandma Ghost there. But not only summon Grandma Ghost,
resurrect her.
but to resurrect her from the dead. This is completely underplayed. She has resurrected her from the dead because they don't want to do the effect. That's the whole reason, because they're lazy. But they're like, she's raised from the dead, ho-hum.
Yeah. You have a body again. You could live all your life from this point on again. It's like, okay.
And this brings about many questions I have about the end. So, she is still alive by the end, resurrected again. And like, Leo takes her out. And then it's like, to do what?
Takes
Kill
her back to hell.
Do they have to murder her again to get rid of her corporeal body? How does that work?
So. Yeah, they don't explain at all. It's like no thought at all about the fact she's apparently alive again. It's so poorly done and ill thought out.
Yeah, she is resurrected from the dead. So the man-hater herself, Grandma Ghost, has appeared. Grandma not Ghost at the moment. So, I like that Grandma Not Ghost turns around when she appears, like she was in the middle of some ghost business when she got summoned.
Yeah, she's playing cards with some other ghosts.
I was gambling
like
and cheating.
or whatever.
Yeah, she was cheating them out of their ghost money.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's surprised that she's corporeal, because they didn't want to do the effect. It was less expensive. She doesn't realize that after this episode, this is just how it's going to be. They never explain in subsequent episodes. She's like translucent and then becomes untranslucent and then could just look normal after that.
Yeah, it's a big deal in this one. Then they can do it all the time after that.
Yeah, and they never bother to say why in other episodes she can do this.
I think she's like, that's boring. I'll just do this. Or something. There's some throwaway line that doesn't make any sense.
At no point do they try and like resurrect their mom. Prue, anyone who means anything to them, and then Grandma Ghost is just
Yeah. Like, wow, we raised the dead. Who cares?
Yeah, they have no thoughts as to, like, the loved ones they've lost to tragically had early ends. Andy, no one. They're like, maybe they could have a second chance.
They could have used this too, the fact Grandma Ghost is alive, and they could have had her excited about the prospect of being able to live again, but then she sacrifices herself for Paige or something.
Oh,
and it could have mattered.
That would have brought those stories together a little more too, instead of feeling tacked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end, she's like, well, I gotta go, and then like Piper is like, why can't you just stay and live your life? And she's like, oh well, you don't need me anymore. So they're
says I don't belong
like,
here too. But
they're
you're
like,
alive. You apparently do belong here again.
Yeah, but they're throwing out there that like, she could have just stayed.
Yeah,
if she wanted to, she could have just lived life again.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
Oh, it's so dumb. It's brilliant.
No, it's just dumb.
But anyway, so it turns out the super powerful misgendered Wyatt helped Piper summon Grandma Ghost from the womb, as you do, just raising the dead before he's
grandma
even born.
Back from the dead.
I do like Grandma's reaction to this. Grandma Ghost is just like,
and why'd you wish for me? Nobody likes me. Why?
It's a little self-aware at this point.
She proceeds to prove this assumption right. Like nobody really wants to talk to her throughout this whole episode, because Piper's like, yeah, I wanted some advice on raising a magical kid. And then Grandma Ghost proceeds to list off a bunch of dumb shit for her to do. Like, did you do all these dumb magic things? And then she's like,
what?
Like,
you mean a nursery?
And she's like, oh, you idiots. Basically the whole episode acting like she is a big dummy dumb. And Grandma Ghost knows best. So Paige comes in at this moment, and she thinks that Grandma Ghost is a nanny that they're interviewing.
Don't tell me you're looking at nannies already.
Yeah, this is their touching first meeting. She's never met her grandma before because she was dead and she was living with another family. And so she's like,
you're interviewing nannies, huh?
So Grandma Ghost introduces herself to her. Like, she's like, hey, I'm your grandma. And she's acting weirdly sweet. Like, it's more disturbing that she's just like, hello!
Yeah.
Paige acts rightly really off-put by this whole thing. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
She's like hugging her and she's making this face like,
yeah. Some real crazy eyes from Paige during this, like,
So yeah, her grandma is there and also alive, and also they can raise the dead, but whatever, comedy. This is when Piper shoos Leo out of the scene by ordering him to clean up the nursery. Like,
go clean up the nursery.
He's like, all right. So Paige is like, hey, Grandma, aren't you supposed to be dead? And then Grandma Ghost, this was kind of funny. She's like, I'm over it. Thus confirming that they casually raise the dead for a shitty payoff in this episode.
Yep.
So, this is when the Snow White Woodsman smashes into the room. And in this version of the fairy tale, he's evil, so he tries to kill Paige.
He swings his axe at her, and she orbs out just to orb back in the exact same place she was, instead of teleporting away from him, and then he hits her. It's like, wow.
Yeah, she could have orbed anywhere. Instead, she goes to the same place and then gets thrown into a side table, smashes that. Apparently, they cleaned all of that shit up after that, before Phoebe arrived home too. Because
we know who did. Leo did.
But did he magically fix the windows and all of that shit? Because Phoebe comes in and doesn't seem to know all this stuff happened. He healed the table.
Healed the table, healed the windows.
Yeah. You can't bring back the dead except when you casually bring back the dead, but you can heal windows.
Yeah. It's like signs.
We tell Meryl to swing away.
So, Piper makes it easy, blows up the evil woodsman. Just like, pow!
Get so tired of that, and that's used again to just easily get out of something in this episode.
You know what I found out recently is that, and we were kind of suspecting this in some episodes, the reason she gets that blow-up power is because Holly Marie Combs didn't want to do fight scenes, so they wrote in a way for her to not have to do anything.
They made it too overpowered, though, because it's just how they get out of almost everything. Just, she waves her hands and easily blows something up.
Yeah, they make it way too easy. And it's boring too.
It is.
That they just get rid, well, that's the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, the mirror guy, he's taunting the evil queen about this.
I love he gets this real shit-eating grin at one point at her.
This is when he just now tells the audience that all of this magic will run out at midnight. So it seems like they're making up this episode as they go along. Like, yeah, well, if you don't do this by midnight, then it runs out and your plan's done.
Jack, isn't that just Cinderella? No, it's all of them.
I don't know why the powers run out at midnight, because, like, these things have been around for centuries, right? And she was in that mirror, so, like, why does it end at midnight that night?
That doesn't seem correct anyway, because we see something run out, which is the magical carriage, and puts Phoebe in a pumpkin.
Right.
While other things are still going on.
Yeah. Why? Why does that happen?
Yeah.
They could have just said at midnight that carriage disappears, because that's what happens in Cinderella. They don't have to tie the rest of it, because it doesn't make sense. And then, like, later, Piper's using the magical fairy tale MGM shoes, and those are still working, so...
Yeah, but that's in the other dimension. It's not midnight.
Why does it doesn't run out at midnight?
It doesn't make any sense.
And if she didn't kill them by midnight, does that mean, like, she I don't know, maybe she just has to use her own magic to try and kill them after that, or unless does she die at midnight? Is she part of this?
It seems like she should be, because she's a character from these fairy tales, but then her murders don't count as fairy tale magic, so... I don't know. So she's like, alright, that woodsman didn't work out, I'm gonna do things myself. She poofs away. In the attic at the manor, Piper, Paige, Grandma Ghost, and Leo debate about who just attacked them. Paige is like, no, it's gotta be a demon, because not just some crazy person off the street with an axe can do that. Meaning, someone was debating that it was a human being. Apparently, Piper does not give a shit that she potentially blew up just a person. Mm-hmm. Why would she? She's like,
I care someone, why not?
Well, one person we know definitely doesn't care is Grandma Ghost. She's like,
who cares who did it? I just don't want to get my new body chopped up. We gotta figure out what happened here.
So apparently she's like, it's my new body. I don't want to get killed. I'm alive. Mm-hmm. So apparently at this point she was thinking about just living out her days. Yeah. Piper immediately recognized that this was the woodsman from the book she was reading, because she holds it up, and apparently her generic book labeled Fairy Tales had historically accurate art. Because this all happened historically, and he looked exactly like that. Brothers Grimm documented the real story. Apparently. So Grandma Ghost, she says at this point, she's glad that Piper was reading fairy tales to her baby, because at least she was doing something.
I'm glad you did something for your kid, you idiot.
This is when Paige walks over. She's got her thong sticking out of her pants. Did you notice this? No. She's doing the, the Lita thing, where that trend from then where you wear the low pants and you have the sides of the thong sticking out. Mm-hmm. It's kind of barely there, but you notice it through the episode, and it's like, it just looks stupid to have your thong hanging out of your pants. I'm sorry. But anyway, she comes over in this very serious scene with her thong sticking out of her pants to say that fairy tales coming to life sounds stupid. And that's when Grandma Ghost tells them that fairy tales are all real. It's all historical. It really happened. Leo also points out to Paige that there was a different episode where Paige found out in a past life this evil enchantress she thought was a fairy tale was her past life. So basically they can just be like, you're a hypocrite, and then they move on from that. Yeah. You're dumb. So while this is going on, the evil queen is she a queen? They just keep calling her an evil witch, but she was an evil queen. If it's supposed to be the one from Snow White, yeah. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, the evil whatever the hell. She appears in the kitchen to leave a present and curse an apple. She pieces out, and then Phoebe comes in, making a beeline for the present that's obviously hers. Like, oh, a present!
It's mine! What's this? It's obviously for Phoebe!
She grabs the present, she takes it upstairs, and they give her the lowdown on this whole fairy tale thing. And she's like... They don't give her the lowdown on why Grams is alive, though. She asks, and they're like, shut up. Don't worry about it. You don't need to know that. Phoebe immediately suspects that Cole is behind this. She thanks Cole bombing all over the place.
Cole probably resurrected this evil woman.
Yeah. She doesn't know at this point that the evil witch is involved. She thinks...
I meant Grams.
Oh, yeah. The real evil witch.
Hey, how you doing? Good to be evil.
Because the present was these plastic slippers, and Cole knows that Cinderella's her favorite, so obviously Cole did this. And she's like, well, who else has enough power to turn fairy tales against us? As if they don't encounter this bullshit every week.
No one else has powers in this series.
And then Grandma Ghost is like, well, in the fairy tale, the evil witch was the one who sent the woodsman, so it can't be Cole. But then that would mean
such weird logic.
That doesn't make any sense, because that would mean that the glass slippers were sent by a fairy godmother, and they weren't. They were sent by the evil witch, and that's not part of the fairy tale either.
No. And it's like, it could have been Cole who made the witch come. Like, it wasn't, but it could have been.
It could have been. It's a stretch, but yeah, like, they're saying this like it's absolutely foolproof.
Yeah, it's just weird that she's like, that's the reason why it's not Cole. Okay.
Yeah, and they know that the evil witch did this, because they're already like, yeah, an evil witch did this. Leo is like, well, okay, I guess they find out later after the elders tell them, because Leo goes, I'm gonna go check with the elders, his classic catchphrase.
Yeah, he says his catchphrase, and Piper barely restrains herself from ripping his head off, and she's like,
You think you say, you stupid fucking idiot? Get the fuck out of here.
why are you still here?
So Phoebe, determined not to be outdumbed, is like, I'm gonna prove that I'm right, and Cole did this. He would never hurt me, so if I put these slippers on, nothing's gonna happen. She throws herself
out the window of the attic, and she's like, Cole did it!
Yeah, so she's like, I'm gonna put these shoes on, and nothing bad's gonna happen to me, because Cole wouldn't want anything bad to happen to me. She's so stupid. Like, what does she think is gonna happen? Like, something fairy tale's gonna happen, even if it wouldn't hurt her.
I think I'll get my best outfit ever if I put these shoes on.
Yeah, Grandma Ghost is supportive of this idea that may kill Phoebe because she doesn't like her. So she's like, that's a good idea. Because even if it isn't Cole, it could lead us to whoever's behind this. So go ahead. So Phoebe puts the plastic slippers on and is transformed into she was already an idiot, but she looks the part. Yeah, she's transformed into the most hideous, baffling, crazy outfit the show ever foisted upon the audience. I do not say this lightly. This is the worst thing they ever showed us. We've seen her turn a pair of an ass of jeans into a tube top. And it was not the worst thing that Phoebe's ever worn. This is the worst thing she's ever worn. Get ready for this. You cannot possibly... This is probably going to be the thumbnail, otherwise you could not picture how terrible this looks in your mind.
This is the canonical real outfit of Cinderella, right? Yeah,
this is the historically accurate Cinderella outfit. Yeah. If you're not watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this audio only, look up a charmed Cinderella outfit. Just be sure you're seated. Alright, so here it is. The outfit consists of said plastic slippers, a strapless formal tube top with lace around it that attaches to a humongous bow in the back, and a floor-length train that is not attached to the miniskirt that has a chain around the waist, and there's a sequined two-tiered ruffle attachment folded over it, like some sort of weird floor-length dish rag of sorts. Like it's just a piece of cloth. Like she fell into a bucket at the Goodwill and rolled out of it in this outfit. Absolutely insane that they had a costume designer make this for them. Look, their costume designer has probably made other better things. I don't want to say they're bad at their job, but I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this particular outfit. It's unflattering in every single way. Yeah. Because, like, Alyssa Milano, like, she's gorgeous. She has a great body, and it makes her look like a complete fucking idiot. Like, there's no reason for any of this to be fitted the way it is.
I don't know why you wouldn't give her the classic dress so it gives more of the fairy tale feel.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a fairy tale. It doesn't look modern either. It doesn't look fashionable. It just looks weird.
Yeah, it's like if you got, like, sexy Snow White from the Halloween store or something. Or not I mean Cinderella.
Yeah, the sexy Cinderella outfit. Like, it doesn't look like that. That I would kind of get. It would still be, like, blatantly fan servicey. But I can't say that this is. I feel like they wanted it to be fan servicey. Like, they were like, make sure you got the midriff and the legs.
Found it.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay. This is... Speaking of the pervert on IMDb, Phoebe begins to be led out of the room by the shoes. So Alyssa Milano decides that she's going to demonstrate the shoes
by
are
doing
leading
like
the way.
The goose step.
She's like, she's goose stepping out of the room. She's like becomes
here comes the Phoebe, right?
Oh no. She's some sort of Vegas showgirl, right? She's kicking her legs up insanely as she's walking. Yes, it's extremely awkward in a miniskirt. You get a bunch of upskirt shots for the IMDb pervert to take screenshots of. It's insane they decided to do it this way. It's like, if you're going to have the miniskirt, don't have her do it that way. Just have her walk normally, or maybe like kind of awkward and be like, oh, the shoes are doing it. You don't have to have the weird... can that she's doing.
No, you did.
It's just bizarre, all of the decisions they put into this.
Every choice a wrong one.
Every choice a masterpiece.
Exquisite.
So Grandma Ghost reacts to this in horror, as if she didn't just say that she wanted this to happen. Like, she's like, oh, this could lead us to the guy, and then she's like, oh no. But she's like, no, don't stop her. She's gonna go, like, just follow her and see what happens.
Let's see if she gets run over. She's going into traffic. Fingers crossed.
She almost does at some point. And she's like, hey, I'm walking here! Anyway, so Paige follows her, while Piper and Grandma Ghost are gonna do some more research. Cut to Prince Charming himself in an elevator. So the evil witch appears in there with him, and then she kisses him, turning him into her enslaved Prince Charming. So she has a plan. She wants him to get her into the carriage by midnight so that it'll turn into a pumpkin and kill her or something.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Phoebe in her underwear is canning across traffic. She almost gets run over. Paige just walks by her looking concerned. This is ultimately pointless, because the carriage arrives, which is going to take her to Prince Charming's charity event. And I don't know why she had to walk to this carriage, which apparently magically appeared. It could have appeared anywhere, but she walks there, so she kind of walks
stupid walking.
Yeah, she like walks to a halfway point, and then the carriage takes her the rest of the way. And it's like, why didn't it just take her to the ball outside the house? They couldn't film at the exterior of the house that day.
Maybe.
So, before she gets in, she asks the driver if Cole sent him, but gets no answer. Like, hey, did Cole do this?
Who's Cole?
He did it.
Phoebe gets into the carriage. Paige is blocked from entering by a magic force field, so she goes back to the manor. So there was no reason for her to follow.
No.
So Leo is now there, and he's explaining the whole thing about the fairy tales being corrupted because all the stories are manifestations of the original. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, confusing lore all around. The elders have correctly guessed that the evil witch did it, even though, like, it could have been anything that did these fairy tale things. It could have been the keeper was corrupted. It could have been the apprentice guy was an idiot. It could have been any number of things.
Like, I don't know where she is.
Yeah. Oh well. Like, they know she escaped from the mirror somehow, even though they have no access to this place. In fact, this place is another dimension hidden from them, as they establish, so the elders don't know shit.
Yeah, why do they have any info on this?
Yeah, so it was apparently kept secret from them. They don't say why it was kept secret from the elders, so they're like, oh, it's impossible to find where this evil witch is. And then Grandma Ghost, being all condescending, is like, oh, Piper, just scry for her, she's another witch. And it's like, well, if you could just scry for her, why can't the elders find her? If it's like, if scrying is more powerful than the elders, like, that doesn't fucking make any sense.
No.
And why just Piper? Why is she just condescending her? There's other witches in the house. Like,
Do it,
She's
Piper.
here to help Pipers, which means she's here to berate Piper.
yeah, she just berates her the whole time. I think that's why Piper is like, I learned to be independent because my grandma's an idiot and I don't need her.
She turned me evil. Just like Phoebe's doing to Cole right now.
So the plan is for Piper to find the evil queen and then lure her back to them where they vanquish her. None of this happens, but why does Piper have to lure her back? Like,
You do it by yourself, Prego. Your evil baby's gonna protect you anyway, so...
So Grandma Ghost and Paige leave the room to go work on a potion to vanquish the evil witch. And Leo checks on Piper. He's going to have a tender moment with her. And she goes,
Shush, I'm concentrating.
Yeah. She like unhinges her jaw and swallows Leo.
We don't need the wolf.
So the evil witch is watching this whole thing from the mirror, and she's got a plan. She places some of her hair on Little Red Riding Hood's cloak so she can throw Piper off. She's going to place it somewhere so that Piper is going to go find it while she goes and sends the wolf in to do the whole Red Riding Hood thing. The mirror guy points out that putting a hair on the hood isn't part of the fairy tale, but she claims she has some sort of loophole. I forget what she says, but it's like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. This doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At the charity ball, Phoebe shows up looking like a complete idiot. She gets some looks for the way she walks, but not enough looks for her stupid fucking outfit. This is, like, can you imagine you're at some rich charity ball and then someone walks in wearing that? Like, what would you...
Yeah.
This
That's
is
when,
like...
Prince Adam's like, I think I'm late for my train to attorney. Actually, I gotta go.
It breaks the spell and he leaves like she's too stupid. I
can't get in on this.
This is an outfit like Fran Fine would be wearing on The Nanny to demonstrate like she doesn't fit in with all these rich bigwigs, you know? Like it's meant to be absurd, but here it's just like, oh, what a beautiful Cinderella moment.
She came in wearing the candy bar dress and she would look cool.
She would. I want that candy bar dress. She, you know what? She can't hold a candle to Fran Fine's fashion. Okay, I'm sorry. She can't hold a candy bar to her fashion. I'm sorry I even compared them because like Fran always looks amazing, and like Phoebe's a dumpster fire. Fran Fine would never wear the ass of jeans as a tube top, as a halter top. Come on, she's classier than that. She has style. She has flair.
Yeah, she was there. So she became the Phoebe.
No. Who would she? She would be Cece.
Yeah.
No, Cece was funny though.
There's some personality that matches.
Phoebe would be the guy that Fran falls onto off of a building and kills for comedy. Anyway, so at the ball, Phoebe meets up with Prince Charming when who should make an appearance but Cole? Ah, beans. Guess what happens?
Phoebe acts stupid? Impossible.
Bitch, 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 bitch. She is so annoying. She's accusing him vaguely of causing her current plight, but not actually saying what's happening. He's very confused. This happens a lot in the season. Like, she's like, like you wouldn't know. And he's like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on at this moment. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Something stupid happened in your life. I'm not involved with this.
Yeah.
I don't know what dumb magic thing is currently going on. I didn't. I don't have the newsletter. I don't know.
I stepped my toe. Call.
He does react once he kind of gets the gist that she's accusing him of something, of being like, "Oh, I'm up to something again, huh?"
Yeah.
Oh, right. What I do now. She says,
"Yeah, these boots are made for walking, but they're never walking back to you, buddy."
Shut up.
Even if she was justified, that would be annoying. She's just annoying. So Prince Charming is trying to get her away from him. He's trying to lure her in so that he can take her to the carriage before midnight or whatever. So he's like, oh, let's go have a drink. And then Cole reacts jealously. So they have, he's like trying to push her away. And then like Cole grabs I think Prince Charming grabs Cole's arm and then he like flings him away. There's some sort of like physical altercation going on between them.
Mm-hmm.
I think because Cole's trying to like get Phoebe's attention or something. So Phoebe intervenes and she's like, no, let's not do this.
She doesn't
we're gonna
think
go
anything of the fact that he's not really damaged by Cole, who has all this power grabbing him.
Well, he doesn't like fling him like into a table like their usual fling.
But the fact this guy can apparently withstand Cole, it doesn't strike her as odd.
I don't think Cole is like trying to use his demon powers to like murder him. I think he's just
not
trying to
murder
get him
him,
to back
but
off.
he should be able to overpower him.
I think
easily.
he's giving him a warning, like arm twist there, because he does get the upper hand. So it's not like he's gonna snap his arm in half or something like the Fly when they do the arm wrestling competition.
It seems like this guy's got some weird power in him.
Yeah, well, he does recognize something's going on because he confronts him about it later.
So he was trying to put some force on him.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna like snap his neck and be like, "I saved the day."
No.
Well, what did you think he was gonna do? What was?
No, I just thought he was using more power. Like he would easily overpower this guy and be like, "You'll cry if I want you to."
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna make Phoebe be won over, though.
No.
I don't know.
I just feel like it's an indication that this guy has something weird going on.
Yeah. Well, Phoebe breaks them up. At the manor, Grandma Ghost is making a vanquishing potion with Paige. This is where the episode tries to have a somewhat sincere bonding moment. So Paige is having trouble bonding with Grandma Ghost because she doesn't have the same relationship with her as her sisters do, because she never met her. She didn't know her when she was alive. She had a grandmother, or like her with her adoptive parents, so she didn't, she had that in her life already, so she doesn't really feel like calling her grandma. And Grandma Ghost is not being as awful as usual. She's like, well, it's not the same relationship, but maybe you can have some room in your heart for a man-hating hag like me.
It's probably one of her better scenes.
Yeah, I do wish that they had fleshed the story out a little more in the way that you were saying. I think that would have helped this.
Yeah.
But this is really the only scene they have to there's some lines, but it takes a back seat to a lot of other stuff. To a bunch of
stupidity.
Yeah. There's more time spent on Thanks Cole-Bama-ing than this other story, which I feel like could have been at the forefront. Grandma Ghost is pretty prominent in this story. They could have had more of a Paige focus.
They should have made it matter, and they should have had the fact she's going to be dead again.
Yeah.
Even though she's apparently not. But they could have done it that way, where she's dead again.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. She goes back to the afterlife matter.
But oh well.
We've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas.
So Grandma Ghost also reveals in this moment that she peeks in on Paige's life, like all the time apparently.
Not when you're pooping.
Yeah, she's like, not during a private moment, which makes her have a little more tact than Leo, who's like, he was watching Paige have sex when he's like, I'm the white lighter, I have to. Fucking pervert. We cut to Piper and Leo. They're in the woods looking for the evil witch. They find the cloak there, realize they've been duped. During this conversation before that, though, Piper is complaining about how overbearing her terrible grandmother is. Like, she's like,
she fucking sucks. Why'd I even summon her?
So anyway, they realize something's going on. At the house, Paige eats that cursed apple. And she
turns into the ring.
Yeah, she turns into the girl from the Ring before dropping dead.
Yeah.
She is dead. Grandma Ghost wants to help, but that's when the big bad wolf shows up and eats the shit out of her.
Amazing. But yeah, apparently this is like a snake. Like somehow it just swallows her whole.
Yeah. We see their silhouettes as this happens, because I think they were trying to be a little less gory about it. So this wolf, it just looks like a normal wolf. It leaps at her, swallows her whole, and you see like blood spraying up in the air. And she's like, ah!
Where'd the blood come from, though? She's like perfectly fine later.
Yeah, like she's fucking dead. He just ate her body, is what it is. I don't know why she's alive again later, but look, that was her miraculously resurrected body was just eaten, blood spraying everywhere by a fucking wolf. This is one of my favorite moments on the show.
That's amazing.
Is seeing Grandma Ghost screaming as she's fucking eaten by a wolf. Wild animal just tearing her apart. So yeah, that's what happens, and the wolf turns into Grandma Ghost. So now it's evil Grandma Wolf,
Yeah.
who goes over to devour Paige's corpse.
Surprisingly, though, evil Grandma Wolf is not as evil as Grams.
Yeah, this is a better replacement. So this is when Piper and Leo arrive, thus saving Paige's corpse from being eaten, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They have a chat, and Grandma Wolf notes that her stomach is upset. And we know it's from all that Grandma Ghost flesh she ate.
No one else mentions anything about that. It's like, oh yeah, would she be hungry after all this time? Not being alive?
I don't know. Piper says some sort of spell. She's trying to get, trying to bring Paige back from the dead. And, she says something about, like, if Snow White can be raised from the dead, then so can Paige. But it's like, she's saying this to who she thinks is her recently resurrected grandmother. So it's like, yeah, you can raise the dead pretty easily, can't you?
Yeah.
And Leo's like, well, maybe if we defeat the evil witch, then it's going to reverse everything.
It'll just fix everything, because that's easy.
Yeah, we got the undo button that we press at the end of every episode.
Yeah, let's just rely on that.
Yeah, that's what happens all the time, so don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is when the 7 dwarves show up.
This is kind of pointless in the overall of the episode.
Yeah, I think they thought it would just be funny, but it doesn't really land because it's little people aren't just inherently funny.
No. They, of course, have Danny Woodburn playing the lead dwarf.
Yeah, Danny Woodburn shows up. They have a few other of the dwarves that say lines. They've shown up because of Piper's spell, I guess. I hope you're not planning on a good payoff to that, because there's not.
The funniest part with them, though, is that they know Grams is the wolf.
They say nothing.
Yeah, you think she knows that's a wolf in her grandma's clothing? And who cares?
Ain't none of our business. You know what? They were the heroes.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it. Carman, though. At the ball, Phoebe is dancing with Prince Charming. And he accuses her of dancing with him to make Cole jealous. And she's like, no, it's just complicated. And he's like, all right, well, I could just fire Cole if that helps. And then she agrees to it, and then they laugh about how awful they are.
Yeah.
I love being corrupt.
I need to be shoving you into that pumpkin now.
Like, so he's under an evil influence. She isn't, but she's like, yeah, I think this is totally professional and cool to fire someone from their job because I personally dislike them.
She is more evil than the guy who's been turned evil.
She's fucking awful. So Prince Charming, yeah, he's trying to get her out of there as part of the evil witch's plan, but that's when Leo shows up and Phoebe leaves. And that's when Cole confronts the guy, and he's like, I know evil when I see it. And then he says, you're it. These lines are so bad. Like, Julian McMahon is trying. Like, I think he delivers them as well as they can. But just saying, like, I know evil when I see it, and you're it, that's stupid.
Forget it! I'm not doing it! This episode was badly written!
So, cut to Phoebe, who has just found out that Paige is dead.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And Leo's like, no, it's cool. The dwarves are there. And like, what?
Yeah,
excuse me?
They're wrapping her, in plastic wrap so that she'll keep.
Yeah, basically. That's all they're there for, is to keep her preserved, to keep her from rotting fucking away.
Brought all their preservatives. They're all good.
They're putting a bunch of jam all over her. And he's like, oh yeah, they prefer to be called little people. And I'm like, wait, if they're not magical dwarves, they're just guys.
Yeah.
Apparently they're descendants of the original dwarves too. So it's like, what? But if they're like, I thought they're called dwarves because that's like whatever kind of like creature they were, not, because if they're just little people, that's just normal guys.
If they're descendants who, just happen to be descended from them at this point, and they're mostly human now, I guess. But it's like, why do they know any of this Snow White shit?
Yeah, why would they? It was just passed down from dwarf to dwarf.
Yeah, like they have
little person to
their
little
memories
person.
are passed.
See, I feel like the reason that little people don't want to be called dwarves is because it's a magical fairy tale creature, right? They don't want to be associated with that. But in the context of this episode, they are magical fairy tale creatures, or they're supposed to be. Right. Otherwise, you're just saying like little people are inherently magic because they're magic creatures.
Stupid.
What are you doing, Charmed? So anyway, Phoebe is insistent that Cole's behind this. Like,
No, it's not a witch. It's Carl. He did it.
and Leah's like, all right, whatever. I don't want to fucking argue about this. Like, you can't do anything here, so let's go. And then they walk away. Like, she could have just left at any time, but I thought the shoes made her go there.
Mm. Is this when she punched Cole?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that they cut back to them later, and then that's when that happens. So actually, it's not now, but it's that same scene they're leading into. So, okay, at the manor, Piper grabs an axe and says she's getting ready for the big bad wolf. Grandma Ghost Grandma Wolf, not Grandma Ghost.
No.
Grandma Wolf's there, and she's like, oh, don't worry about that wolf thing. He's not going to show up. Let's go into the attic real quick.
Yeah. Let's go read that big bad wolf story.
Yeah, let's read up on this. And that's when the little people are like, hey, do you think she knows it's the wolf? And they're like, not our problem. So, this is when they cut back to the ball. Phoebe is leaving. This is when Prince Charming shows up to offer her a ride, and then Cole comes in.
Yeah, she punches. It was just like, shut up, Phoebe. She's so annoying.
Yeah, he's trying to help her out, and then she punches Cole in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like a massive overreaction to this.
It doesn't make any sense, too, why he's, like, insisting, like, Prince Adam's insisting that he drives her home, even though she just said her brother-in-law is here telling her about this family thing. You would presume he had a vehicle or something from his perspective to get here in the first place, so he would take her home. Why do you need to drive her home? He's like, oh no, I need to, because I need to throw you in a pumpkin. Oh, okay. As long as it's not Cole doing it, it's fine. You kill me in a pumpkin.
Yeah, she punches him in the face and is like, back off, and then goes with Prince Adam, who is trying. Oh my god, is he trying? So, they leave behind Leo, who was going to orb her out. It would have been quicker to orb out with Leo.
But she's stupid too.
But she's accepting this ride.
She should have
Prince
said,
Adam.
I will go with my brother-in-law, but she needs to die in a pumpkin. So.
Yeah. Leo gets in Cole's face, like, not to follow. Like, who cares, though? Like, oh, you son of a bitch, don't follow her.
Well, why would Leo block Cole? Like, why would he say, this doesn't make sense, that this guy's driving her home? I should orb her back home.
Everyone's antagonistic for all the wrong reasons. Whatever. So at the manor, Piper is reading up on Little Red Riding Hood. She's commenting on how dumb Little Red Riding Hood is for not noticing that her grandma was a wolf. Meanwhile, Grandma Wolf sneaking up, getting ready for the kill.
She's quoting the wolf lines from the book.
Yeah. It's very funny because Piper is not saved. Grandma Wolf transforms back into the wolf and eats Piper. We get a hilarious shot zooming in on her screaming face.
And the day was saved.
And the day was if you cut to the credits, it's the perfect ending to the show. Everyone's dead. Well, Phoebe's not dead yet, but she does die.
Yeah. Yeah, just get her in that pumpkin and then the end.
Yeah. The next scene is confusing. Leo is following Phoebe, and then he gets kind of a stomach ache.
Yeah.
And he's like, Piper, and then leaves? Like, is that what happens when Piper dies?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. Why does he get an upset tummy when Piper dies?
Why didn't that happen when Paige died? I don't know.
He just got diarrhea when Paige died.
He was doing what Phoebe did when she felt all of the pain in the world, just
Ow.
So anyway, that's when Prince Charming chucks Phoebe into the carriage, and she knows this is bad for some reason. She's like, huh? Oh no! Leaves behind one of her plastic slippers. The payoff is nothing at the end. She learns to trust people or something. I don't know.
Ugh.
Anyway, he slams the door shut on her in the carriage, and her stupid dress is, like, stuck in the door. You can see it sticking out, even in the effect shot where it transforms into the pumpkin.
I wish it was still sticking out of the pumpkin.
That'd be hilarious. You just see her stupid little sequin rag hanging out of it with, like, the chain around it. That's how you know it's the Phoebe pumpkin. So yeah, it's a pumpkin now. Just a normal ass pumpkin.
I wish her face was like smeared in the pumpkin too, like screaming.
She screams, and it's like in Twin Peaks when the lady gets stuck in the dressers.
Yeah.
The end.
It's the end of that character.
What a respectful way to write someone out. So anyway, yeah, she's trapped in the pumpkin forever, the end. So Prince Charming runs over to the pumpkin. He's about ready to smash it. This is a scene where it's played totally seriously. He is going to murder Phoebe by smashing a pumpkin. Sean Patrick Flanery has to hold a pumpkin and pretend he is going to commit murder. And then who shows up to save the day? That's right, stupid evil Cole. How dare he?
I don't get, like, she's already dead, though, right? She was crushed in the
She's
pumpkin.
dead. She was crushed in a pumpkin.
It's like he's gonna extra kill her by smashing
Yeah,
it?
I don't know. But, like, then Julian McMahon has to come in there and play this serious also. Like, he's like, no, you can't kill her because this pumpkin is so important. And I know you're under the influence of something. And if you do this, I'll kill you.
Are you on evil magic? I know it.
he's saying, like, how he's going to kill him if he smashes this pumpkin. And so, like, this feels like an exercise that you have actors do to show like them playing a scene serious no matter what they have to interact with, even if it's like a half-rotten pumpkin, like just like, no, don't smash the pumpkin. And he's like, all his threats about like, I'm gonna kill you if you smash that pumpkin are completely undercut because he's like conflicted, and then he throws the pumpkin, and then Cole freezes time. He freezes this guy right when the pumpkin's just about to hit the ground, and then just grabs the pumpkin. So really there was
shows
no
how
threat there
not
at all.
evil he is, because he's just using that as a threat to try and get him to
he
stop.
doesn't kill that guy.
No.
He saves Phoebe. He is the Prince Charming of this episode. So, smash cut from that scene to Leo with an axe yelling, "Where's my wife?" at a wolf. There was no segue to this. Where's my wife?
That's when Leo goes on the run as the fugitive. I didn't kill my wife!
Phoebe goes,
I don't care.
Like, oh, sure, the big bad wolf killed your wife.
oh, yeah, sure. The wolf attempts to leap back into the book, and somehow, in the middle of that, while dead, Piper still manages to lazily blow him up and save the day. She blows him up from the inside out, saves her and Grandma Ghost.
Yeah, how were they fine? This wolf was smaller than both of them.
This is fucking bullshit. She was dead, and she still manages to makes it easy, and blow up the wolf from the inside out.
And this, we see Grandma, not Ghost, is still somehow alive.
She's alive again. She's resurrected again. Casual resurrecting from the dead again.
It just did not make any sense to do it this way.
Grandma Ghost proceeds to complain about how long Piper took to get them out, and then she says,
Back off, Grams. I just saved your ass.
which is very funny.
It was good.
And then Leo reacts to this like it's super hot, like, oh yeah, she's back. He's just
telling
into
off
her.
her Grams.
Yeah, he's into Piper just bitching at people. And
he has to
taking
be
control.
into that to marry Piper.
Like, oh yeah. He starts masturbating. So this is when Cole appears with this pumpkin, and he's like, hey, this is Phoebe, just to clarify, I didn't do it.
See, I didn't do it, boy.
I didn't do it, boy. So, Leo has deduced at this point from the wolf just kind of looking at that book, that the book of fairy tales is a portal of some sort. I guess it tried to jump into it, so there can't be any other reason for it to do that. So, Piper just guesses. Everyone's just throwing out guesses that happen to be right. She's like, well, I can get in there if I wear the Little Red Riding Hood cloak, because fairy tales can get in there. And then she says,
I knew I was going to have to put on this stupid thing sooner or later.
That just seems like an ad lib by Holly Marie Combs.
I was going to wear this stupid thing.
She had to wear the dumb costume.
So, Piper puts it on, she touches the book, and then she warps into it via hilariously bad effects. They did a little, like, green screen, and then she kind of does a little warpy. She's disfigured as she goes,
And, like, we got back, didn't live long, fortunately.
To make a long story short, Piper lazily throws a potion at the witch. The end.
Yeah.
She goes in there and she's like, haha, and then throws the potion
She
and she dies.
does the Wizard of Oz, I'm melting thing.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Nechayev.
Yeah, Nechayev dies. The mirror guy is freed.
What Picard should have done to her.
Instead of giving her little appetizers or whatever.
Yeah, whatever that food was.
When did Nechayev die? Did she die in Picard? Or did she die later in the show?
Think she died.
Did she not die?
I don't think so.
Oh, it was Shelby they killed.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
Shelby.
They were like, oh, someone we didn't kill off.
Yeah.
Anyway, you don't care about spoilers for Picard.
Make it so.
So the mirror guy is freed. And they notice the dead old guy still on the floor, like flies buzzing around. Yeah, he's fucking Wimplo. Like, like if everyone else is alive, surely.
Never mind.
I guess he didn't come back.
He's like, everyone else died via magic or something, so they're fine now, but not him. Yeah, that is kind of what happened, because Piper's like, oh, if he didn't come back, does that mean my sisters won't come back? And then, like, the apprentice guy's like, no, because of some bullshit, they're fine. Yeah, I don't know why that freed him from the mirror, too. Yeah, everything was reversed except that guy. Yeah, except him. Like, screw that guy, he should be dead. Dumbass keeper. And then Piper's like, here's the cloak, but how am I going to get back? And then she receives the ruby slippers from that classic MGM fairy tale, Wizard of Oz. Yeah, they had to use the ruby ones because most people know that better than the silver ones. It's not even from the book. It's just from the movie. Yeah, because it's the silver ones, but they changed them to ruby slippers, and that's what everyone knows now. So in the Charmed universe, Wizard of Oz is a fairy tale that happened, and also the MGM version is historically accurate. Yeah, that's exactly how it went. What? Back at the manor, Paige is already alive again. We don't get any fanfare for that. She's just already there. Mm-hmm. So that's how much they cared about Paige being dead. Yeah. And Grandma Ghost coldly tells her that she was dead, but now they have something in common. You were dead, whatever. Bonding. Even though I'm alive, but take me back to hell, Leo. The head little person is there, and he says they'll send him a bill, thus beginning Paige's hatred of little people. That's why she hates leprechauns. Phoebe, too, is back to normal. She's not in a pumpkin anymore, and in another hideous shirt. You think she's normal, it pans up at her, and then you see her head's a pumpkin. What if she was normal, and then she turned around and her ass was a pumpkin? She shits out pumpkin seeds. So, Grandma Ghost says that she's gotta go. And then, like, Piper's like, why, can't you stay? And she's like, you don't need me anymore. And then they're like, yeah, we never needed you. Go back to hell where you belong. This is meant to be kind of a moment for her and Piper, like, you know, you got this parenting thing down, right? But Phoebe is like, I don't like it when it's not about me. So she's like,
well, I barely got to spend any time with you.
Shut up. Just flinging her arms around them like,
I'm in the scene. It's about Phoebe.
And then Grandma Ghost comforts her by saying, I don't stay dead for long. Which is a sadly accurate threat. Yeah. And then, confusingly, she goes over to Leo, and then they orb away. So it's like, is he orbing her to hell? Where are they going? Yeah. Taking her so she dies somewhere, I guess. He's taking her to die. So there's no way around. He's taking her to die. How do they murder her again? She just goes to the afterlife and blows up her body, I guess. He orbs her to the center of the earth. This is the most humane way to kill her, I think. Yeah, get out of the sun. Yeah, into the sun. So Paige and Piper peace out of the room, so Phoebe and Cole, who is also in the room, can have a moment where Phoebe has to eat shit and say she was wrong. Surprisingly, she does say she's sorry, but she also acts like a bitch because she's just like, well, I still can't trust you, and I can never trust anyone again. Like, she's like, oh yeah, I was wrong this time, sorry about that, but you still suck, so... He's like, yeah, but what if I teleport you to Adam Prince and show him smelling your stinky shoe? Like, I guess I can trust again, or some bullshit. Yeah, this is terrible, because, okay, Phoebe does apologize, but, like, spends the rest of the season thanks Cole-bombing, and then the rest of the show thanks Cole-bombing, so it kind of rings hollow.
She never keeps a lesson. She has to learn the same thing over and over. It's just like, oh, she has to learn to love over and over again. Oh, she has to learn that Cole's not evil over and over again.
Yeah, and Cole is like, he's nothing but extremely kind to her, because it's not just for self-serving needs. Some of this you're like, oh, this is kind of self-serving for sure. Like,
but
I get what they're going for.
He saved her ass, apparently, from double death or whatever.
He saved her ass, and then, after she apologizes and then says she'll never trust anyone again, he's like, I'm gonna show you that you can trust people, and then maybe eventually you can trust me. That guy that tried to kill you in the carriage, he was under a spell. He's actually a pretty good guy. So he takes her to see Prince Charming, who's sitting there, sadly with the plastic slipper going, what's going on? Hey, yeah. Yeah, and he's sniffing it like a pervert. Yeah. So, she goes to see him.
Taking screen caps and uploading them to IMDb.
We found him, the IMDb pervert. So she goes to see the prince. I guess they're gonna hit it off. I don't think he's in any other episodes after this.
So I guess they don't hit it off.
Yeah, we hold on. Thanks, Cole-bama. The end. What were your final thoughts on Happily Ever After, Phelan?
They just really screwed up a bunch of things because they had something there with the Paige and Graham's stuff. But, like I said, I think she should have had to sacrifice herself, and then it makes more sense that she goes back to hell at the end instead of just, I'm alive again. Anyway, take me back, Leo. Okay. Just Phoebe's story was annoying. She sucked the whole episode, and Piper was okay as far as Piper goes, even though she's very hateful towards Leo.
Well, I think this was at a very irritating point in Charm's story, but it's not as irritating as season 6. It is in the prime Cole-bama era, but it does have some of my favorite laugh at the show for being bad moments. I do enjoy Grandma Ghost getting eaten and murdered terribly. Same with Piper. The Cinderella dress is like, what the fuck? But it's so what the fuck. I kind of I admire that they managed to create something so bad. I don't know. It's kind of a funny episode, but it is irritating at parts. And unfortunately, Phoebe is just dominant over a lot of shit, so you gotta deal with that.
Yeah.
Alright, Phelan, you got a Margoyle, the standout loser of the episode, or a Carman, the hero?
Margoyle, it's almost Cole for saving Phoebe, because she does not deserve it, but it's Phoebe. It's Phoebe so much. She's so annoying. I was so done with her when she punches Cole. It's just like, you deserve to die in the pumpkin, you fucking horrible person. I hate you.
I think the Margoyle for me has to be, it has to be the Cinderella dress. Just the Cinderella dress. It's a loser.
Phoebe wore it, so...
Phoebe by extension.
She walked like an idiot in it.
Yeah, she did look like, you know what? Yeah, Phoebe is pretty. But I'm just going to say it's specifically the dress is the Margoyle for me. You got a Carman?
It's the wolf for eating Grams and Piper.
I'm going to say it's the Danny Woodburn dwarf. Because he knew it was the wolf, but he didn't say shit. Care. So he got them killed. So I guess it's sort of an extension of your Carman as well. All right. Anything else you want to say about Happily Ever After?
No.
All right. That's the end of this episode of the podcast. If you guys enjoyed it, we'd appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, or reviewed wherever you're enjoying this. You can find it in audio form wherever podcasts are enjoyed under Charmed Rewind. You can also find it on YouTube under youtube.com/Movie Nights the series. You can also check out Phelan's stuff at youtube.com/Phelis. Or if you would like to support our shows on Patreon and vote in polls, you can vote on the Charmed Rewind or see episodes ahead of time. You can check us out at patreon.com/Movie Nights and patreon.com/Phelis. Thanks to Peter Hunter for editing the podcast for us and making the incredible theme song. You can find him at Pretor Hunter on Twitter and on YouTube. He does funny Let's Plays. He also just got married. I think I said that in the last one, but it's still true, so congratulate him. What are the hashtags?
Hashtag Ministry of Stupid Phoebe.
Hashtag the dwarves were right.
Hashtag Eat Grams.
Hashtag shut up, Grams. All right, that's it for us. We'll see you Charmanders next time. Bye.